Welcome to Being Anxiety Free. My name is Emma Upton and I'm here to spill all the tea on what it means to actually be anxiety free. Without anxiety, we learn who we're here to be, what we're here to do, and then our unique body of work gets to flow through. So come join me for this episode. Cheers. Episode 23. Surrender doesn't suck. I'm still not over this. If you're listening in your ears, just pause for a second. If you're listening on the podcast, look. I'm so happy. I'm always looking for ways to piggyback sensory hack to get into the mindset of the things I want to be thinking. When we accept that our brain is always going to be looking for why life is impossible and it's hard and all of those things that we just take for granted that life is naturally going to be, when we start to go like, I don't want to live my life that way anymore, thank you, it's going to take the brain a minute to catch up, depending on how long you've had the mentality around. And don't get me wrong, you can be prolific in your mindset. You can be I work with some of the most incredible human beings in the whole wide world, but we still find things that we're stuck in and we're like, oh, this is the sticky thing from a while ago. I'm obsessed with using piggyback sensory hacks because if we just go into these spaces trying to unravel it with our mind, we just bob around in it for all eternity and we get lost in it, and then we feel triggered because we don't do a good enough job, and then we stick a label on it, and Francis is like, no, we decide this. When we notice that our brain's going to do that in all the areas we're meant to move through, once we get comfortable with that fact, life gets really different. So I'm always looking for ways to try and stimulate that unconscious part of me where all of these things dive into and live and exist. And I mean, I've got the I've got the stimulants, I've got the mint Mondays, I've got the tangerine Tuesdays, I would have to be tangerine Tuesdays, I've got watermelon Wednesdays, there's lavender for thankful Thursdays, there's almonds, that's the only one that doesn't make sense. Almonds for Friday, Saturday sitting is rhubarb, and then Sunday is lemon flavours and scents and stimulants and colours. I've got those nailed down. I've got my hack pack that I have literally around my desk so that I'm always checking into it, but I'm always looking for new stuff. And this, because my Bob is so loud, like maybe it's this, we need to figure it out, we need to think it through, don't take action, we need to think about it first. I'm like, no, I'm gonna lead. So this is spilling my tea. I'm not going to spill my tea. I spilled my tea yesterday. But it's a lot harder to. I'm going with it. Today is Surrender Sunday, so it's not about the greens, it's about the yellows, it's about the lemons. So if you're listening to this, pause me for a second. If you're on the podcast, pause me for a second and go get something lemon, go get something yellow. And I've got my, can you see it? Yes, I've got my bubble in here. I've also got, should I show you? Yeah. I got some new Rain Max. And I just thought I'd kind of play with them and see what they're like. They're really cool. I'm gonna show you more about those. But it was raining and I was like, oh, I've got a yellow Rain Mac. I could have been in my lemons in a different way. But I implore you to go and surround yourself in something lemon as you're navigating this, because what we're doing is we're taking it out of the conscious brain. Your conscious brain, my conscious brain, is always going to be want to think and understand our way through it. We're never going to get to our answers by thinking and understanding it. Who we are and what we're here to do makes no sense. So if we're always keeping it in the conscious mind with these three, it's always going to be that we're not going to step into who we're here to be and what we're here to do, because it's not going to make any sense. So our work is to move into the unconscious space. So wear your lemons, have your yellows out and about around you. Do that as you're listening to this, because it allows us to go deeper. The spaces where your brain's like, nah, that's not for us. It's like, well, shall we go there? Shall we go there? I'm in such a vibe today. I can't, it's amazing. I feel, so I wanted to share in this energy in case you need to feel this. I hope you do. I hope it translates through to you. Like, let me know if you feel that. Surrender. Surrender doesn't suck. Even though these three in your conscious brain will tell you that it does. I think surrender is one of the trickiest skills as human beings to navigate, because Our brain never wants us to surrender. Our brain never wants us to just wait and see and try anyway. No, don't try. There is no try, there's only choose. And choose to do it anyway, but it might go wrong. You might get in trouble. You might disappoint somebody. You might look like a fool. Something bad might happen. Like, your brain goes to those things. These guys are there, especially her, with all the worst case scenarios. All these things might happen that you don't want to happen. So let's control it. That's what she says. Now, let's control it. Let's navigate our life with such strict controls around it all. So then we get the outcome. If we think about it, we avoid the things that we don't want. That's all we're ever thinking about when it's her. Oh, if I control this, it means that worst case scenario I don't want to happen is less likely to happen. That's her mantra. That's all she says. When we notice that and we start heightening this awareness around it of being like, oh, she's just trying to stop the bad stuff. Well, where's the space for the stuff that's meant to happen? Where's the stuff for the things that I'm meant to be doing that bring joy and fulfillment into my world and into the world? Like, where's the space for that from this controlling, restricted? There's not. And so once we start seeing these, this is why I'm obsessed with starting with Awakening the Inner Power, because Awaken the Inner Power teaches us how to see these and how they're holding on to the things that don't serve us. When we can see them in action, it's like, oh, I'm literally just living my life, my business through trying to avoid the stuff I don't want to happen. Wow. No wonder it doesn't feel expansive. No wonder it doesn't feel fun. No wonder it doesn't feel like I'm getting downloads and synchronicities coming to me for expansion and creation of frigging course. And when we start to see that, it allows us to move into that unconscious space, and the subconscious starts getting noisy, and the subconscious starts rearing itself up, being like, well, like, I know your purpose. Like, I know your destiny. I know your life's mission. Like, I can literally communicate it through the unconscious. So you get these ideas, you get these chance encounters that actually lead to something really profound. Like, but you've got to trust that to follow this rather than the conscious brain of this. The pathway to being able to do that, I always say, the art of surrender is like bringing all the rainbow road pieces together, all those other 6 elements. It's the final bow that ties them all together. Yes, the 6th element being Saturday sitting, yesterday's work, is about being able to pull yourself back onto that rainbow road over and over again. But today is about pulling it all together. But let me tell you, this is what it actually feels like. Living life without learning the skill of surrender often feels like you're riding a roller coaster whilst trying to drink a scalding red hot coffee with your best white outfit on. Surrender is actually the most powerful place of existence. You were born to navigate from a place of surrender, but your brain and an anxious nervous system have a different plan. They're screaming at you, death and destruction lie in wait for you if I don't take charge. The idea of surrender sounds pretty appealing in theory, let go and let love and all that, but in practice it can feel like walking on a knife's edge. And all for what? That's what they're saying. And all for what? Just to feel shit anyway? But that's the point we're all missing. When you continue to contort and control your world, white dress, coffee, roller coaster, fall to your death or hold tight, you miss everything that's actually meant for you. You're also making it impossible for anything new to get into any of the cracks, as almost everything new starts super small and comes into our lives in the most minute of ways. Controlling it all means you keep doing and getting the same thing over and over, looping the loop again and again. And we want something different, right? Yes, we do. We want something different. And so we have to see where these guys are controlling and contorting, and we have to start to learn to release. It can't be like we all know, you're a powerful, brilliant being here for something so much more than me. You know me standing here saying we're here for more, and the way to actualize more is surrender and to release. Like, you know this cognitively. These 3 love that you know this. It's like, yeah, we know we need to surrender. We know we're just going to get the same results if we keep doing the same thing. Our job is to notice. Wear your lemons today. Wear and smell your lemons. Eat your lemons. Make a pie. Like, drink your lemon tea. Go about your day and watch the same habits and routines, and watch where these guys are going, well, if we don't, this worst case scenario might happen. And in those moments, notice it. That awareness is huge, and do the switch around it, being like, okay, I notice that these three are just trying to alleviate me, and I believe them. Oh, if I keep doing this, then I won't get the worst case scenario happen. Like if I keep going, if I keep doing it. What if that's not true? What if actually you going in today and using those lemons to look at your world over and over again, the compound effect? What if you see that little crack of a moment of, oh, I get to do this differently. How about it? What if a moment today starts to allow that crack to expand? You know, like water, if there's a little crack and water is flowing, and it's flowing, it starts off tiny. That's what that subconscious that wants to come and through you starts out off as. That little moment, that little crack of maybe something. And most of the time, these three are like, nope. And they patch it back up real quick. But what if we actually surrender to go, you know what? I don't know, it feels different, but my God, do I want something different? Yes, remember, you do. You want something different, but there's resistance. And that's okay, because I have a human brain. But you see that little, I'm going to nurture that. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to watch this flow of water start to flow through it. Little after little. What happens to those cracks? They start to expand. And then this flow happens from the subconscious up, and it's like, oh my God, I was missing it. Like, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm here to do. This is what my body of work is meant to be. We're here to serve. And quite often as people pleasers, that's why I'm so obsessed with her. This rainbow effect of, we're so obsessed with serving other people as people pleasers that it just takes our last ebb and flow out of us, and we end up having nothing left. The work is actually looking and dialing into that subconscious so that that flow can come up and through. When you serve from that space, you are just unstoppable. Your work does not stop flowing, and you connect at a deeper level. The universe, whatever you want to call it, is like, oh my God, you're a real one. Like, go, let's go, let's go. And that's when the real life magic results compound in our life. They don't compound by thinking it through and thinking, oh, I want to be thinking about it. I want to know more about it. It comes from this divine space of flowing through. So the rainbow effect, I see a question now. The rainbow effect is the 7 steps in the formula. Each element of the 7 steps combined together. And when you practice these 7 foundational pieces of the work over and over again, it starts to connect. And I call it a rainbow road through the unconscious to the subconscious. So it's like you are I always say to people, I wish I could plug you into me. My husband is saying this all the time, like, Emma, it makes no sense. I was like, you need to experience it. If I could plug you into me, you would experience it and you would never question it ever again, and you would go. It's that. It's plugging into the subconscious and the 7 foundational elements. And once you master those, and mastery comes with the compound effect of practicing them over and over again. That's why I'm obsessed with the sensory element. So you're reminding yourself over and over again of these 7 areas every day. Has a colour, has a scent, that you just keep building on, and the compound effect starts to overflow. Once you've got those 7 steps in place, you're connected to the subconscious. And yes, you fall out. Like, because you're a human, you fall off it, but you know how to reconnect back to it again. Things like this, like, oh, where's my monkey Bob? Because he's mint and he's green. Like, where's my Bob? Where's my... Oh, he's lost somewhere in the humanness of this experience. And I get to reconnect to that subconscious. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Oh, this is my next idea. Oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing next. And that flow comes from this divine space. And I depict it as the rainbow, like, coming through this horn. You know, when you're... Have you seen Soul by Pixar? Pixar Soul. I love it when people are just in that space. My boys are like, what's that, Mummy? I'm like, they're connected to the subconscious. They're connected to the depth of themselves where everything flows. All ideas flow through them. The 7 steps allow us to connect to that space, and the flow comes through and out. And you give, like, I'm giving here today. This is Sunday, and I am giving, but I'm giving from overflow. It's not a feeling of, oh God, I've got to do my podcast today because I've got to show up because I've said I'm going to do it every day for the... It's like, it's not that. You're so welcome. It's this overflow of, I can't keep this inside me. This can't just be for me. I want to give it to people. I want to serve. I want it to flow out of me. When we create a life and a business from that overflow, you feel it. Like, you feel this, right? You feel it's a different energy. It's not me showing up here because I should and I must. It's an energy of, I can't not. I've been given this, like, I want other people to experience it. That's what the narwhal is. So when we are able to connect to that space, it flows through you. It flows through you and people feel it. People want to be around that energy. People want to be around that. And whatever you're here to deliver to the world is going to be so clear. It's going to be so obvious. And it's just going to flow out into the world. And it's going to feel, I'm obsessed with the word easy. I did not ever think that I would be able to describe my life as easy. I thought my life was hard. Everything I do was a challenge. Everything had a struggle. Everything had something to come up against it. And I was like, ugh. I'm obsessed with the idea of this work being easy, like eating cake and drinking tea. It gets to be easy. It gets to be easy when we connect to that space and it flows through. It's like, of course I'm going to do this. Of course I want to spend my time on a Sunday with you. Of course I want to deliver. Of course it gets to be that. And so much of it comes through the 7th step, which is surrender, which is the lemons. So go about your day today. Go about your day and watch where these 3 parts of the conscious brain are going, we need to control, we need to contort. Life is hard and I need to go through, like, matter with matter, 3D and 3D. I need to figure it all out so all the pieces go together how my brain has decided it's meant to go. And watch what happens when you notice your brain doing these 3 things. And you're like, I wonder what surrender in this area could look like, because that's that crack in the subconscious that we want for that flow, that water, that rainbow water. That's what I'm imagining, to start to be able to pierce through. And that consistent compound effect of surrender again and again. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's meant to be, but that's kind of exciting now because I'm in spaces and places where I'm being supported and nurtured and we're doing the same thing. Like we had a narwhal tea blessing. A group of narwhals is called a blessing. So we all came together. It's so powerful. Everybody in this space being like, whew, it's a lot. Like that crack's expanding. And I'm seeing the evidence come through into the 3D. One of the women there was like, I'm getting thousands and thousands of pounds coming through my business now. This is new. This is different. Like that crack's expanding. And it does take a minute, like, to calibrate and be like, but this is good. This is a good thing. This is what we want. And we're able to do that and surrender and be like, I want this, I want more, I want something different, and I'm going to move and I'm going to flow through it. That space is magical. So get your lemons on today. Get your, I got my hat, I've been on my walk with my hat on today. I've got some little badges that are coming from the front of these, which I'm so excited about. I've got my new waterproof, like, surround yourself with lemons and then watch how these 3 want to go, don't you dare surrender. Don't you dare take steps that we haven't figured out yet. That's too scary. And watch what happens when you do. Happy Surrender Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. Much love.